You can love somebody and still need to let them go, bro. You don't have to stay with somebody just because you love them. Toxic people don't always look toxic. They can be charming, familiar, and even be your family members. And that's what many people get confused and misconstrued, is that they think that just because somebody is their family member, that they can't be toxic, or they feel wrong for feeling upset that the person that they care about is being toxic towards them. Don't ever get that mixed up, bro. Based on my own personal experiences with toxic people and how painful and how both freeing it can be to finally choose yourself and stop being allowed to be taken for a dickhead. Because once you change these certain things and people in your life, do you start to see success? This isn't about blame. It's about boundaries and learn to put yourself first for fucking once. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how you can emotionally detach, not with hatred or revenge, but with clarity and peace, so you can become the best version of yourself and actually have people come into your life that give a flying fuck about you. The first thing you need to do is you need to recognize the emotional hooks that a toxic person has you on. When we talk about emotional hooks, it's first important to kind of recognize the people that are in your life that are taking the piss out of you. This could be your family members, past relationships, and I say past relationships, I mean like your ex-relationships, current relationships, and your friends, platonic or whatever. When you recognize the people in your life that are taking the piss out of you, that's the very first step. Before you even recognize how they are manipulating you or gaslighting you. And the majority of the time, we don't actually fully recognize the people in our lives that are hurting us. And the reason why that happens is because you're around, or you should expect to be around, people that look after you, care about you, respect you, want to see you grow. However, when you're moving through life, you become desensitized to the type of people that you think truly give a damn about you. And what happens is you begin to let things go by the wayside. You begin to let things become a paramount point of disrespect without addressing it, because you think it's better to leave it because you care about the people so much or so dearly. What happens? Toxic people often trigger familiar toxic patterns in your mind. So what does this look like? Guilt, abandonment, fear, rejection. For example, I didn't have the best relationship growing up with my mum and my dad. And what would happen is I would always feel some sort of anxiety around those people. I'd always feel as if I was doing something wrong. I always felt as if it was my fault that I was born and whatever I was doing was wrong, no matter if it was good or bad. I always seeked some sort of validation from the people that were supposed to care about me no matter what. What happened then? It displayed itself and reflected itself in all my relationships. I became timid. I became filled with anxiety. If your tone changed just a little bit, I'd be like, oh, I've done something. I was essentially a useless, I'd say, husk of who I could be, because my own identity was shrouded in the patterns of toxicity from my parents. Or for example, even with just relationships in general, when I was dealing with people that were toxic, when they would gaslight me or manipulate me, because of the abandonment and the rejection that I faced from my parents in my childhood, I'd often internalize those beliefs. And whenever people told me that I did something wrong, I would never pull back and ask them, well, what did you do to me? How did you make me feel? It was constantly about how I made them feel, and how I was so wrong in how I approached certain situations. And oftentimes when I did try and lash out and say, well, no, I didn't feel respected in a sense because of something, what happened then? I was told that I was overthinking, overreacting, as if I was being somebody that I wasn't. I always held back for the sake of other people's health. But it's still your fucking fault. Ask yourself this question. What keeps on pulling you back into that dynamic? And it's a very difficult question to ask yourself, because it's one of those questions that attack you directly. If you keep on going back to your toxic ex that keeps on cheating on you or treats you like shit, what's the reason why for that? Well, maybe you love the intimacy. Maybe they've got you by a hook and they pull you around every which way they want you to go. Maybe they are more, I'd say, dominant than you. You should never allow somebody to have control over your emotions, especially as a man. You should learn to put yourself first in every single situation. Nobody should have control over you, even if it's your parents. Do you have a moral obligation to understand and feel your parents' emotions no matter what it does to you? That's not how it should be. They are your parents. Yes, you have the moral obligation to look after them, but it's not your moral obligation to look after them emotionally. I mean, to an extent, yes, but at the same time, if they're manipulating you, being narcissistic, gaslighting you, telling you that you're useless because of who you are or their own inadequacies, That's bullshit. Don't ever tolerate that. Sometimes it's also important to understand that these emotional hooks are what they use to keep you on a line. Many people themselves, due to their own inadequacies and insecurities, oftentimes will keep you on that hook because they're worried about where you'll go and how you will leave them. If you're around somebody that has a crippling sense of insecurity, watch how they act and watch what they say to you. Certain things they might say are, well, you're not that good looking. Oh, how's your little business? Or why are you doing this? That doesn't make any sense. They often project their own insecurities to try and keep you in the same box that they've placed themselves in. Don't ever put yourself in a box which somebody else has created, because that's not your box. Don't ever allow somebody to control you unless you've given them permission to control you for any sort of moral reason. The reason why you've got to become aware in this first step, because awareness gives you the option of choice. You begin to now choose whether or not you allow certain habits to interrupt your life, such as manipulation, gaslighting, or rejection or abandonment. You allow yourself to choose whether or not you're going to allow somebody to treat you a type of way. So firstly, identify the person and the emotion that's holding you back. See to it that you figure out the exact thing that they are doing so that you can become more self-aware about it. Then reflect on that emotion that they're making you feel, the toxic person. Are they making you feel guilty? Are they making you feel angry? Nobody should have control over your emotions but yourself. And finally, become aware of these patterns consistently. It might be quite difficult to do this at first, but it's so important that you continuously become aware of the patterns that people are using against you to try and manipulate you. Because if it's happening in one place, it's likely happening in many other areas of your life as well. Not just your relationships, but your money and fitness and health and everything else. So now, after you've become aware of the patterns and or the people that are manipulating you, it's now important that you create space both physically and mentally. You can't heal in the same environment that's hurting you. Hear that again. You can't heal in the same environment that's hurting. Now, once you've figured out the habits and the people that are fulfilling toxic relationships in your life, create space. Boundaries are so fucking important, bro. You know what? People talk about boundaries as if it's some woman thing where it's, the universe works for me. You know exactly what I'm talking about. No. Create boundaries. For me, boundaries have been the most important thing in my life. And I'm trying to find a different word instead of using boundaries because it sounds so weird in a sense, but put space between you and the people that are disrespecting you, always. And one of the most hardest things about it is that could be with your family members. And oftentimes I've had to put massive boundaries in front of my life, in place in front of my own family members, simply because they're human too. And they're going to disrespect you. They're going to treat you like shit. They're going to not believe in what you want to achieve in your life simply because they never believed in themselves. And this doesn't mean you're supposed to take it out on them or call them shit or expect them to be useless. It's about putting yourself first, because if you're really going out there because you want to achieve something in your life, you can't have people that are pulling you back and pushing you into areas that you don't want to go simply because they have some sort of familiar connection with you. Don't ever get it misconstrued with your moral obligation to allow yourself to be disrespected by those that you think love you. That's complete and utter bullshit. Just as important, mental space. Do you ever consider yourself, or ever find yourself, in fact, ruminating about what your parents have said to you? That used to be a massive thing for me. You know, my opinion, the opinions of my family members or the people closest to me mattered to me the most because those are the people I care about. Those are the people I see on a daily basis. But when they would say things that would hurt me or push me to the point of being depressed, it would run in my head for days on end. You must learn to separate yourself mentally from those toxic people as well, because they know how to get into your head. And usually the people that get into your head the most are the people that are closest to you, because they know you better than anybody else. And so they know exactly how to make your clock tick. And what they'll do is that they'll put certain things into your mind simply because they don't like themselves or they're having a bad day. And what they know is that it will affect you a lot more simply because you care about them a lot more. Don't allow that to happen to yourself. Create a mental barrier between what people say to you and what you believe. And whenever people try and say things to you, and I know it's a difficult thing to do to try and separate yourself mentally from what people say, but at the same time, it's important just to maybe tell yourself, okay, well, they've said something to me. Just because they've said it doesn't mean it means anything. Just because they've said it, just because they're my family member, just because they've said it doesn't mean it means anything. You're allowed to think differently from what people have told you. Don't allow yourself to be trapped in your own prison simply because you're too worried to think anything else because they're your family member. You know what? I used to use little mantras, and it would be like, I don't care. It's not my responsibility to fix. Or things like, no, I'm not going to accept that bullshit. And I'll just say it in my mind. Become more aware about yourself. Become more strict of yourself. Don't allow certain feelings and thoughts to enter your mind unless you allow them. Telling your things like, well, no, I don't care. I'm deserving of a whole lot more. I can achieve a whole lot more. I'm not going to listen to this bullshit. Walking around like you own the place because you do. One thing you've also got to understand, especially as well, is that space isn't punishment. Space is simply reclaiming your power. Oftentimes, I used to think that if I tried to give myself space for my family members, they would think, oh, well, I'm being a prick. I'm showing them a different side of myself. I'm being an arsehole. I'm saying, well, no, I don't want to talk to you. Move away from me. It doesn't mean that. Space doesn't mean punishment. Space means self-respect. Space means I need time to recuperate and think about how you've treated me. Change these moral inflictions in your mind so that they benefit you, not so that they work against you. So firstly, cut contact, reduce exposure to that person and or thing. If it's a relationship, go no contact. Don't allow them to have contact with you. Remove numbers, block numbers. Take time away from the people that are being toxic with you. And I know that can be a bit harder, especially if it's with family members, but you get to choose the words and the things that enter your mind on a day-to-day basis. It's all up to you. Then remove emotional triggers. Take a step back, remove yourself from social media, from seeing certain things or hearing certain things, stupid videos or photos of the person that you've got in your camera roll. You know exactly what I'm talking about with your ex and you've got the pictures of you on your roller skating date. Who gives a fuck? Remove that shit. You don't need that shit in your life. That's also a way how they keep you grounded in their own reality. I used to have an ex that would be like, oh, did you delete the pictures of us? I said, yes. And she'll be making such a big fuss about it because she realized she no longer had that vice and all that control over me. It's a lot more deeper than you think. And then finally, use that space. Don't just create the space because you wanted to fucking do it. Use that space. You've created space between that person. Now use it. Fill that space up again with things about yourself. For example, create new memories. I don't know, spend more time on yourself. Go to the gym a lot more. Look after yourself. Once you've created that space, there's a void. And that void might seem scary or might seem difficult to fill because you fill that with that person because you were stupid enough to think that they could create a massive part of your life. And the only thing you can do is only you can create and fill certain parts of your life. It's not your family members, it's nothing else but you. Fill that part of your life, that void, with better parts of yourself now. To finish this whole video off, you need to learn to rebuild your emotional independence. The best revenge in your life is building a life that doesn't revolve around them. When I broke up with my ex, the thing that made me so depressed was that I thought that the life that I had planned to build with this person was gone forever. Don't be fucking stupid. There are so many different people, so many different things out there, not even just relationships, but platonic friendships that can propel you into a future you never thought would have been possible. Rediscover what makes you feel alive without having to seek that external validation. What makes you feel alive? Do you love traveling? Do you love doing scary shit? Do you like reading books? Do you like watching movies? Do you like creating content? Do you like creating business? What makes you thrive as a human being? And do that shit. Don't allow somebody to choose how you wish to live your life. This is not fucking, I'm trying to think, Tron. I don't know, Tron came up in my fucking mind. But don't think about having somebody as the main point of contention in your life, because you are the main point of contention in your fucking life. You've got to practice self-trust with yourself again. Whenever we've gone through bouts with toxic people, it's often hard to trust yourself again because you made the decision to trust yourself with somebody that's toxic enough to treat you like shit. Self-trust is built over time, and that's one of the first things to go whenever you get abused by somebody that's toxic, whether that be your family members or friends, because then you start to think, wait a minute, am I unable to choose people that truly care and love me? You are. You just made a simple mistake, and sometimes those little mistakes can allow certain people into our lives that will ruin it. So don't hold yourself down just because you've made one bad decision. Make decisions every single day without seeking the approval of others. Make small decisions. They don't have to be massive, but small decisions. For example, you decide to get a different haircut. You decide to go to the gym and try a new workout. You decide to do something a little scary. You might say hello to a few people a day or choose to be a different version of yourself without seeking the approval of others, but simply seeing that you can do whatever you want to do when you want to do it. Invest in routines that help you build trust and an expansion in your own identity. Pay for your fucking gym membership. Do some sort of fitness, some sort of yoga. Buy decent gym wear. Stop going in your fucking black t-shirt and ripped jeans on shorts or whatever. I don't know who goes to the gym in jeans, but you know what I mean. Invest in some fucking hobbies. Do some rock climbing. Do something that scares you and do it by your fucking self. You ain't got to do it with your friends or other people. Do it by yourself. Don't seek the validation. Then go and buy yourself something fucking nice to drink. I don't know, like a fucking boba or whatever it is, a drink, beer. Buy yourself something nice after you've done something nice. You deserve it. Look after yourself. So first things first, do things for yourself. Don't allow yourself to seek the validation from someone else. Then commit to a solo routine and invest in yourself. Go to the gym, do some rock climbing. I don't know, do go-karting, spend some sort of money on yourself. Then finally, celebrate small wins privately. Those small wins are what will keep you growing. That will keep you in a strong frame of mind after you've removed yourself from toxic people. Being yourself is the most authentic thing you can do. But you can't be authentic when you're around toxic people that don't like you and wish to see you fail. Family members, relationships, old friends, old relationships can all be part of a toxic cycle that help you destroy your life. You're so much more than how you see yourself. But the only way you can see yourself is you start to remove the people that are in front of the mirror. The people that are blocking you from seeing your identity, that are stopping you from seeing yourself being the king that you are. Recognize the patterns from the people that are holding you back. Set boundaries once you realize and identify the habits and or the people that are holding you back. Then recreate your space, rejuvenate your energy. Understand who it is that you are and who it is that you can become. Treat yourself as somebody that deserves respect and love and honesty. Celebrate the small wins and trust yourself again. Because you can do anything you put your mind to, but you've got to remove the people that are forcing you to believe otherwise. And remember, never forget who you are.